In today's video, I'm going to share with you one Bible verse that will become the reality check that you need today. If you're watching this video, it's because you're ambitious. You're a man who wants to live a successful life. You want to build a business. You want to quit your 9-to-5. You want to lead your family. You want to have that financial freedom. And there's nothing wrong with having any of that. But right now you're stuck. You're stuck with planning and strategizing and you're stuck in fear. And this one Bible verse is going to be your wake-up call. Listen, many years ago, and also within the last 6 months, I've struggled with what I'm going to share with you today. And it held me back from reaching my potential, and it held me back from having some kind of success that I desired. So I believe that this is going to speak to you. I believe that you are going to walk away with a little more clarity, and you're going to know exactly what to do by the end of this video. Now, I'm not going to give you any tactics. I'm not going to tell you what to do because you already know what to do, my brother. So starting off, Proverbs 21:25, and it says, "The desire of the sluggard kills him, for his hands refuse to labor." What does that mean? Okay, number one, desire without discipline is just daydreaming. Listen, if you're not willing to work for the things that you dream about, you're going to find yourself in a constant cycle of complacency. I used to be in this boat. I used to dream about having a business. I used to dream about being successful. And while I did take some action, I did execute on some things. I held myself back because I was trapped in fear. I was focused on what it would be like if I had a business that was successful. I struggled so much with this because I knew I wanted to be successful. I knew I wanted to be wealthy and rich. And it took me a long time because I was trapped in that planning and daydreaming mode, and it held me back. You see, desire without execution is not neutral. It's destructive. Okay, let me share another verse with you. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 3, and it says, "For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, but a fool's voice is known by multitude of words." If you say you're going to build a business, if you say you want to create financial freedom, but you don't actually take action, you are the fool. You are the one who is trapped in daydreaming and planning and casting a vision. It sounds fun, it sounds productive, it feels good, but it doesn't execute. It doesn't bring the results that you desire. Number two, what you keep putting off is exactly what you need to do. Let that one sink in, because it took me a long time to realize that the things that I was putting off in my business and in my personal life was exactly what I needed to do. You see, sometimes the things that you need to do requires you to face your fears. Okay, I wish someone would have told me this, because I was stuck in this cycle of doing what felt productive, but it wasn't the thing that needed to be done. I was stuck in fear of judgment, fear of a rejection, fear of exposure. And that held me back for years. And one thing that I wish I would have learned at the time was that this is not a stop sign. When you have those fears, it's not a stop sign. It's a sign for you to keep going. It's a sign for you to execute, because your current identity is signaling fight or flight. And so what's happening with your nervous system is that you are trying to do something that you have not obviously done before. So your nervous system is signaling that this is a threat. So what do? You avoid the tasks that you need to do. You procrastinate, not because you're lazy, but because of the fear that your body is projecting. And I didn't know this until, 6 months ago? Somewhere around there. And it took me years to realize why I wasn't making progress. I wasn't making progress because I was trapped in fear. And sometimes those internal beliefs are disguised as wisdom. So you have to wake up. you have to face those fears and do the thing that you know you have to do. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to daydream and you're never going to actually see results in your life, okay? I have another verse that I had paired with this, and it's Proverbs chapter 6, chapter 6, verses 6 through 11. It says, "Go to the end, O sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man." What does that mean? I'm going to give it to you really quick. When you don't do the things you know you need to do, poverty is going to come upon you like a thief. What does a thief do? A thief is quiet, is stealthy, right? Poverty is going to come upon you very stealthily, and then all of a sudden, like a robber an armed robber doesn't just stealthily move, right? He breaks down the door, he has weapons, whatever. And that's how it is. That's what Solomon is portraying here in this proverb. Wealth is going to come you slowly but surely. And then all of a sudden it's going to hit you like an armed robber. It's going to come upon you because you are not taking action. And obviously we see here that the sluggard is lazy. And so the principle still applies here. Do the hard things. Do the things that you need to do in order to move forward. If you're just doing what seems fun and gives you that dopamine release, you're just going to stay stuck. So you can't ask God for a breakthrough if you're not willing to execute on the vision, okay? It requires that you meet God halfway. I used to struggle with this. I used to pray God, God, please bless me with a business. I want to be financially free. I want to be successful. But there were some things I wasn't doing that he wanted me to do. All right, moving forward. Number 3, diligence is the bridge between what you want and what you have. This is very, very important here. Okay, the sluggard in this proverb lacks desire. He does not lack desire. He lacks follow through. Okay, the sluggard doesn't lack desire. He lacks follow through. Maybe you've seen this in your own life. You've done all the planning, the research, the strategies, but you struggle with the follow through. This goes back again to facing those fears that you have. Okay, and desiring what you won't work for isn't ambition. It is covetousness. Oh my gosh. It is covetousness. Okay, if you want something and you envy other people for it, or you want something but you're not willing to work for it, that is a sin. That is, when you do that, you are coveting, okay? You really want to become aware of this. You have to become aware of this. So the shift is simple here, but it's not easy, okay? Stop asking for the destination and start building the road. Start building the road here. Proverbs 21 verse 5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty will come to poverty. Okay, create the plan. I'm not telling you not to create the plan. I'm telling you to stop over planning. Okay, create the plan and execute it. What are the daily and weekly inputs that you need to follow every day to see results? Focus on the ones that scare you the most. I had this breakthrough in my own life and business where I was starting to go after the things that scared me the most. I was texting people about doing market research calls. I was texting people making offers. That was scary. And I did it, and I realized it wasn't all that bad. And once you start to realize that those fears you have are not that scary, oh my gosh, this becomes a game. You start taking action, you start executing, and you go after it. And you don't even hesitate. There's going to be a point in your life where you become so fed up with where you are, you're just going to go right after it. And that happened for me. I was so fed up with where I was and where I wanted to be. And because I wasn't there yet, I just said, you know what, forget it. I'm going after it. I'm going to pursue it. I'm going to start making offers. I'm going to start texting people. And I started to build momentum. I started to build confidence. And that changed everything for me. Okay? Here's the thing. Desire is meant to be fuel. Okay? It's not designed to just keep you complacent. Okay? If you don't use it as fuel, it becomes poison. Because you sit on these ideas, you sit on this vision, you sit with these desires, and they fester. So the gap between what you want and what you do creates that internal death. This is why he says in the proverb, the desire of the sluggard kills him. So it is slowly eroding your confidence. When you don't take action, when you don't execute because you're stuck in analysis paralysis, you're stuck in planning, and you just don't take action going forward, you're slowly killing your confidence. I didn't realize this was happening to me, and it took me a very long time to realize that. And so what's happening is your internal beliefs create your story, and these stories become your reality. And it starts with you closing that gap from where you are to where you want to be. And so the principle is very clear here. So desire was really designed to produce action. And so when it doesn't, it turns inward and it devours you. Okay? So your desire for business, income, and impact is meant to drive you. Use that fuel. Use that. If you truly desire to have a business, to create financial freedom, to quit the 9-to-5, use that for that drive. Use it, what am I trying to say here? Work with that desire that you have, and everything else just kind of falls into place. You start to become resourceful. You start to figure things out that you didn't quite know before, because you can't wait for confidence. Confidence comes when you take action. Okay? So I was curious about why the desire kills him. And I know I gave you a little bit about it, but I want to go a little bit deeper in this. So your desires carry weight. And so it was designed to be discharged through execution. Okay? So when you feel the pull towards something and you don't execute, there's a few things that happen here. And a lot of it happens on the internal side, the subconscious. Okay? But here it is. There's 3 things that happen here when you don't execute. It breeds self-contempt. So deep down, you know what's going on. You know the gap between who you are and who you want to become. It becomes very clear, and you start to realize the gap is so much further because you're not taking action. Number 2, it creates a false identity. You start to be the man who almost did something, who almost built a business, who almost got a client, who almost reached out and texted somebody with an offer. Plans become the substitute for action. Man, let that sit for a second. Plans become the substitute for action. Number 3, it kills momentum permanently if it's left long enough. So eventually that desire is going to fade. If God called you to do something and you're not doing it and you're not executing on it, he's going to find somebody else to do it. And that desire is going to fade. Here's the thing. You know that verse, Psalm 37 verse 4, that delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you your heart's desire. The Lord has given you that desire. It is not your desire. It is the Lord giving you a desire. He's giving you what to desire. And you don't realize it, but you desire what he desires. So if that desire fades, you better run back to God. And you better go create an action plan. You better start taking action. So it's not that the desire fades because you achieved it. It fades away because you no longer believe you can do it. Okay? Think about that. If that desire is fading, it's because you don't believe you can do it. So what Solomon is saying here is that the desires kill the sluggard. Not a physical death, but the death of his potential. The death of your potential. That is so good, right? God's word is so good. So I had this revelation. I saw this verse and I was looking into it because it was me many years ago and many months ago. And so I knew I had to make changes. So I actually have another verse that really helped me to kick into gear about taking action and facing those fears. And it's Proverbs 12:24. And let me see here. The hand of the diligent will rule, while the slothful will be put to forced labor. Okay, so what does that mean? Really quick. If you do not take action, if you do not face those fears, if you do not focus on doing things that you know you need to do, you're going to be put to forced labor. What does that mean? For me, that meant going back to a job. I struggled for 6 months to build my business, and I had to get another job because I couldn't pay the bills with my business. So for you, maybe this means you have to go back to work if you're not currently working. Maybe for you, this means you're not going to be able to build that business because you're going to be so consumed by another job or 2 jobs, whatever it is. So let it wake you up. Let it wake you up and allow it to create the internal drive within you. So I hope that made sense. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, be sure to click the link below. I have a community of men and entrepreneurs and men who want to quit their 9-to-5 job and build a business. Okay, if that is you, click the link below, join the newsletter. I send out emails every day at 5:30, and it's exclusive content sent straight to you so that you can apply it and learn so that you can start becoming the man who can build the business, who can take action without seeking permission. If that's you, click the link, join the community. I can't wait to have you in there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.